औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। आज हम HVAC का एक और लेक्चर पढ़ेंगे। पिछली क्लास में हमने गैस रिमूवल पढ़ा था यूजिंग द फ्लैश टैंक, हाउ टू रिमूव द गैस, और उसके साथ हमने कहा था कि हम इंटरकूलिंग का प्रोसेस भी करेंगे। सो आज के लेक्चर में हम इंटरकूलिंग कर रहे हैं in multi-stage compression. So intercooling in multi-stage compression. Now I have written a specific work input which would be required to give an input work to the compressor. So you can see that it is dependent upon the volume. Now if the volume reduces, it means that the work input, the specific work input will be reduced, and which obviously will help in saving work, saving energy, and making the process more efficient. However, it should be noted that it is not favorable in every case. Sometimes it favors, sometimes the conditions, the refrigerant, the type of refrigerant, the working temperatures. So different things compile to make a decision that whether we are going to use the intercooling or not. But however, this is one of the concepts, so we are going to discuss that how it works and how the processes takes place. Now to explain the phenomena that how the intercooling in multi-stage compression means that there would be at least two or more than two compressions, because the compression would be in multi-stage, not in a single stage. Now if you can see, we have a pH and PV diagrams. We have PV diagram and we have a pH diagram, and now we are going to see that how we can actually save the work. Now since you are familiar with the pH diagram, and we know that the work done is from, let me show you. So the work done is from 1 to 2, for example. So this is the work input. Now you can see that actually it would rise over here to the 2 dash, but since we are moving, we are doing the compression in the multi-stage, so it will move from 1 to 2, and then the intercooling process will take place, and rather than going to 2 dash, it will move to the 3 due to the intercooling process. And after this 3, another compression will take place from 3 to 4. So if you can see that the pressure has been actually raised to same, which is the 2 dash, which would happen if we perform this compression in a single stage. अच्छा, चूंकि हम इसको सिंगल स्टेज में नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो आप देखें, तो हमने इसको 1 से 2 पे लेके गए, जाना इसे 2 डैश पे था अगर सिंगल कंप्रेशन होती, लेकिन हमने 1 इस प्रेशर तक इसको पहुंचा दिया है, लेकिन आप देखें तो हमने इसको उसी प्रेशर तक पहुंचा दिया। इफ़ यू कैन सी, द प्रेशर ऑफ P2 is same that of P4, P2 dash is same that of P4. So it means that due to multi compression, what happened, that this much work, as you can see, this much work, let me highlight it, that this much work has been saved due to multi compression and due to intercooling between the two compressions, because we have performed the intercooling process between the two compressions. So on a PV diagram, if you see, compression is actually the reduction, causes the reduction in the volume and the increase in pressure. So it would move from compression in a PV diagram. Since there is a compression, so the volume will reduce, so it will move like this, 1 to 2. So it should move like this, 1 to 2 dash in a single compression. But since we are doing the intercooling as well as the multi-compression, so from 1 to 2, from 1 to 2, and between that we move towards the 3. Why? Because from 2 to 3 the intercooling has take place, and due to cooling, what happens, the volume further reduces, and then another compression take place from 3 to 4, which has been shown over here from 3 to 4, and which is actually the same pressure whatever is at 2 dash. So this amount of work, as you can see, has been saved because this volume compression has not taken place, and we have already mentioned over here that it depends upon the volume. If the volume, compressing volume, or the volume which has to be compressed is lower, it means that the work input will be reduced. So that is how the cooling in multi-stage compression takes place. Now how to achieve this whole concept and how to achieve the intercooling process, so that's actually important thing, and for that we actually use two major ways or two major approaches. Number one, we use the flash tanks, which we already have discussed for the gas removal. So we use those flash tanks for the intercooling purposes as well. So they serve two purposes: one, the removal of the flash gas, and second, the intercooling. And there is another way of using the heat exchanger. We can also use a heat exchanger where the cooled water or the cool water can circulate and extract the heat from the superheated vapor. From here, as you can see here, the refrigerant is in a superheated state. Now to discuss it further, that how actually we have reduced this work, so you can see that H4 minus H3 is less than H2 dash minus H2. So H4 minus H3 would be less than H2 dash minus H2, which is quite obvious from here. 2 dash is at higher enthalpy and 2 is also at higher enthalpy, so the subtraction would also be at higher, and 4 dash 3 H4 minus H3, so it will actually be a lesser value. So the difference of H4 and H3 would be less than the difference of 2 dash and 2, which actually suggests that the H2 minus H1 plus H4 minus H3, because there are two compressors involved. One, compression from 1 to 2, then there is an intercooling, and then compression from 3 to 4. So there is two compressions, as you can see, from 1 to 2 and 3 to 4. So there are two types of compressions. Now the total work H2 minus H1 plus H4 minus H3 would be less than H2 dash minus H1. So H2 dash minus H1, if we could done it in a single stage or a single compression, so that would require more work, more energy input. So that is why the work input has been reduced, and we already have discussed that when the work input is reduced, it means that the performance would increase if the same amount of heat is being absorbed and rejected, and the cooling effect has been produced. The same cooling effect has been produced with a less input of the work, and that is actually facilitated through intercooling. Now how to achieve that intercooling? So that is an important question. As I have already mentioned, that how to achieve this intercooling. So the answer to this question is that there are two possible ways, most common. One is the use of the flash tank, which we actually have used for the removal of the gases during the expansion. When there is an expansion process, the sum of the liquid actually converts into the gas, and then we remove that gas in a flash tank. And the same flash tank can be also used for the intercooling purpose. How? We are going to see that in a while. Similarly, there is another method of water cooled heat exchangers. So we can also use the water cooled heat exchangers in order to cool the refrigerant which we are actually using in the process. Now how that takes place and how that works, so we are going to see that in the in these diagrams. So the first, you can actually see that it is using the flash tank. So intercooling using liquid refrigerant in a flash tank. First of all, let me tell you that what this diagram actually shows. So this diagram shows that there are two compressors, low stage compressor and there is a high stage compressor. Then there is a flash tank which we have already discussed in the last lecture, and there is a refrigerant coming from the condenser. Now the refrigerant comes from the condenser, passes through this expansion valve, and due to sudden expansion further cooling effect takes place and the refrigerant becomes more cool. Some of the gases due to the expansion actually move to the higher compression state where they have been compressed in order to make them in a liquid state. So this refrigerant over here is actually cooled, and when there is a input from the compressor, so when the saturated vapor is compressed in a low stage up to a certain pressure, then it actually moves into the refrigerant and is passed into the refrigerant. Now what happens, since this is cool, so this cooling effect takes place, and then from the flash tank it is actually being moved into the higher stage compression. So that is how the intercooling takes place between the primary or secondary, or we can say the low stage and the high stage compressors. The cooling takes place because the refrigerant inside this flash tank is cooled than the vapor coming from the compressor. So when this compression takes place, the vapor comes in, mixes over here, and they get cooled, and then the cool vapors moves into the high stage compressor. Now it is very important to understand that the intercooling process is not always favorable. As I have mentioned earlier, that you have to look into many things. You have to perform different type of calculation, that whether the use of the multi-stage compression is adding to your cost as well as to different other aspects, because you cannot go with such a system where the heat removal is less and the work input is higher. So you have to look into the various aspects. Similarly, the other method is the heat exchanger method. Now you can see again there are two compressors, low stage compressor and a high stage compressor, and when the saturated vapor is compressed in a low stage compressor to a certain pressure, it is passed through a heat exchanger where the cool water comes in and goes out, and the heat exchange takes place, and the the vapor is actually being cooled, and the intercooling process takes place between the two compression states. So these are the two basic methods, or the two basic conditions, or I would say the two basic methods of intercooling between the two compression states. As you can see, again there are two compressors and there is an intercooling between them. In the upper case, where we use flash tank, we have already mentioned that between the two compressors there is a intercooling process taking place. Now the point is that at what pressure, because you can see here that up to which pressure we can actually perform the first compression. So it is very important to understand. So we obviously need some optimum pressure where we can actually perform this intercooling. So we have to decide that at which pressure we would have to perform the intercooling process. And for that there are various models which are being used to find out this optimum pressure. One such model, or I would say that for air, or for the air refrigeration system or air compressors, the optimum intermediate, I means intermediate, because you are actually there is an intermediate pressure, because one pressure is of the condenser, the other pressure is of the evaporator, high pressure and low pressure. As you can see, there would be a high pressure, then there would be a low pressure, and this pressure would be an intermediate pressure, the pressure at 2 and 3. So what is the optimum intermediate pressure? So for air compressors, it is actually the root of the product of low pressure and high pressure. So the root of the product of the low pressure and the high pressure. Now what is low pressure? So low pressure is at 1 when the vapor enters into the low stage compressor. And what is the high pressure? So high pressure is at 4 when the saturated vapor, or the vapor basically leaves the high pressure compressor or a high stage compressor. So that is P1 would be low pressure and P4 would be the higher pressure, and the product and then the root. So we have to take the root of the product of the lower and higher pressure. Similarly, if we have another refrigerant other than air, so for other refrigerants there are multiple models suggested with different type of correction factors. One such model is actually under the root PE, PC, TC divided by TE. Now this is when we have other refrigerant other than air, refrigerant other than air. So PE is actually the pressure of the evaporator, PC is the pressure of the condenser, TC and TE are the temperatures of the condenser and the evaporator respectively. So this is how this intercooling process takes place. We can also use both the flash tank and the heat exchanger in a combination as well. We can use them separately, like the flash tank alone, or we can use the heat exchanger alone, but we can also use both of them in a same process. So we can also make a combination of the flash tank and the heat exchanger. So we can actually perform both, or we can combine both in a single plant or a single refrigeration system, I would say. how and what would be the impact of that and how to make the calculations. So we are going to discuss that in the coming lecture, because I want you to learn things in bits and pieces and learn it properly. So that is actually the goal, that is actually the aim. Or if you have any kind of questions, you can ask me. So these are the two intercooling processes and how we can actually further combine both the processes in a single refrigeration system. So we are going to see that in the coming lectures, inshallah. Thank you so much.